You said it best, Coach. I can practice all I want, but I could be practicing wrong.
That's it.
And guess what I did?
What?
I programmed that into my motor cortex. I programmed that into the way I live, think, speak, react, act, talk, everything, because I programmed myself this way, or allowed others to give me programs, which means that they are reprogrammable. Welcome back to another episode of Aspire Higher with Charles and Yvana Bailey. We're your host with the most, I don't know. Figured I'd do something different, you know what I mean?
Guess.
Yeah. Anyway, I felt good about that. No, I'm just kidding. Sincerely, of course, you know we have a lot of personality, a lot of fun. Yeah. We talk about purpose, but of course, building massive amounts of momentum. Today, we have a great episode, and we don't just say that lightly because the truth is, if you hadn't been following us, by the way, right now, go ahead and do it if you hadn't been. Hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Hit the like and hit share. But if you hadn't been following us, we've had some great guests. We've had some incredible episodes, and we talk about some really deep points that you can use right now in your life to build massive amount of momentum and then increase your life's purpose so that you can actually maximize your impact, because really that's what you're after, fulfillment. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man.
You
got a
good.
Jacket on.
Yeah.
It's cold in Florida.
By the time people see this, it's going to be even colder.
I know. It is Florida. But I'm
doing well. It is what it is, man. I'm feeling great. Okay. I'm always glad to be in your presence. You know, you're super happy. And again, we try our best. Yeah, it's the joy of the Lord. You can say it. It is what it is now.
Come on now.
It is different. Yeah, it is definitely different than happiness. But today we want to talk about something that I'm really glad to jump into because I don't want to waste any of our audience's time.
Okay.
We want to talk about the ability to make choices. We want to talk about practice and programming. But the most important topic, the thing that we really want to be talking about is impulses.
Okay.
That is how we actually maximize potential.
Yeah.
Woo, said a mouthful already.
I like it though.
You know, it's funny because you know that I studied exercise sciences. For those of you who are watching, you've heard us tell stories about our athletic endeavors. I have a master's degree in exercise science. So some of the things I'm going to talk about here and that we're going to discuss is going to be pulling from our experience and our knowledge in that area. Right. But one of the things that I learned in grad school was the motor cortex. You ever heard about this? Yep. The motor cortex is literally the seat of our impulses. It's the thing that is the generator of our action potential. It's where our pre-potential lives, right? You ever had anyone say to you, you know, you have such great potential,
of course,
right?
Of course.
Well, people hear that.
Yeah.
They're like, when have people told you that?
Whenever they see like a talent or a skill and ability that I might have.
And typically it's because they don't see you maximizing it.
Oh, right.
So they'll say you have such
great
great
potential. They see what's in you, right.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's because the potential lays dormant.
Yeah.
So in our body, the motor cortex is what controls that. It stays within that place where we can register an activity and action, then take that action and move. So what they're saying is that, you know, you have the ability to create such great momentum. You have the ability to really have such a great impact, but you're not using your gift. The reason why you're not using it, though, is because you may be distracted or you may be using it incorrectly.
Right.
Incorrectly.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I want to discuss. So talk about that real quick. Do you have any place in your life that you can recall where you were utilizing your gift, but maybe you weren't utilizing it to its maximum ability?
Yes. This is interesting because as a performer, we were both a part of some establishments to where the gift was not dormant, but it was limited. And you can be ready in and out of season, but if the one that opens the door for you to utilize your gift, knowing that you have all the potential in the world, starts to kind of dim you or put you in the shade, it is very difficult to arrive with all your potential if it's not welcomed. So that's a different spin on it. But yes, there have been times where I've been ready, you know, and I felt like, okay, this is my time, this is it. And unfortunately, it was either just limited or kind of pushed into a corner. And it definitely built resilience within me because I know what I have. I know what God has given me. And I know that with the right people and with the right support and the right community that is not afraid to allow someone's gift to shine, you can explode with a momentum and keep that propulsive force forward. You know?
Absolutely. But you said something interesting. That's why I said you made a very interesting point. And I didn't expect you to do that, actually.
Okay.
And it's great because it does tie right into what we're trying to bring out right at the beginning of the show. And that is your ability to perceive yourself shouldn't be impacted by other people's ability and how they perceive you.
But you know how hard that is?
But not just how hard it is. The problem is that we are the ones that are creating that perception of ourselves that is limiting our ability to act, take action, or maximize that potential that we do have.
True.
So I think the most important thing that we want to start with right here is we have to think about the responsibility we have to make a choice.
Come on. Yeah.
Choose how we see ourselves and it'll change our circumstance.
Right. There are a lot of clients that I work with that they don't see their true potential. They don't really understand that they have a well of talent, skills, and abilities, you know? And sometimes it does take a leader, it takes a coach to bring it out of them, to show, kind of like cast light into their dark corner, if that makes sense. Because I've also noticed that sometimes with ridicule or with, I guess, lack of courage, they can find themselves knowing that they have all the tools in the tool belt, but just not ready to really reveal that to the world because of disappointment or because of lack of courage or because of ridicule, you know? So it does take some time for some people. It's a process. Yeah. It's definitely a process.
Of course. And it's interesting because going back to what we're saying here, as a person thinks, so is he. I mean, that's a scripture, and it's really interesting because I oftentimes say this, if this is your first time catching us, just because you may not believe something doesn't mean that you can't find or extract the wisdom out of it, right? Use things as a tool, and they'll help you evaluate yourself and give you more propulsive power, right? But it's truly a mind over matter thing.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about matter in the external sense, but our matter, who we are, how we identify. If I don't have the right mindset, if I don't have the right mind frame, I'm going to act out of the misperception, misconception, and the misplaced identity that is either put on me or I myself am the construct of the prison that is keeping me back from my purpose or maximizing that potential.
That's deep.
Yeah, talk about it. What does that make you think as I say that?
I think about people that can be depressed. They have all the bells and whistles within them.
All the bells and whistles.
They have all the sounds of success. They have all the wealth and knowledge of the ability to be able to bring forth life into who they are, into their business. But sometimes that imprisonment can look like depression. It can look like anxiety. There are people that I've had to push so hard. I mean, so hard to be just in front of the lens. Like, this is a natural thing, but it's not natural to 90% of the public, right? The biggest fear in the whole world is public speaking.
We've spoken about that.
We've talked about that. And the thing about it is that some people have found comfort in the jail, in the jails of their mind, in the jails of their hearts, in the jails of their soul.
Absolutely.
That's where the work comes in. Because you need someone to pull out of you the ability to gain that momentum.
Or push you out of that place.
Or push you out of it.
And it's funny. The funny thing about what you just said, and you were talking about thoughts, and you're talking about feelings, and I want to make sure that you finish your point, because I don't want to interrupt you, but there's an important thing I want to say, so help me to remember, because it's a quote that can help people to figure out how they can actually change the way they see themselves, how they can impact that motor cortex so that they can make better choices and better actions and movements. Go ahead.
No, tell me the quote.
Remember the quote? It says, watch your thoughts. Because your thoughts becomes your words.
That's right.
Watch your words because your words become your actions. Watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character.
That's right.
And watch your character because ultimately it will become your destiny. So it all starts in the mind. It all starts in that motor cortex. It all starts in where we put our place our potential. Misplaced potential.
Come on. Misplaced potential. You know, I think about how certain bad habits, some people want to be millionaires, trillionaires, billionaires. They want to be so successful.
Sure.
They
I
wanna
mean,
be
but
at
it's
the
nothing
top.
wrong with wanting to
I'm
be
not
that.
saying there is,
Right.
but if you have bad habits before, how are you going to be when you get to the summit? How are you going to be when you
Absolutely.
gain the wealth? How are you going to be when you gain that legacy, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that doing the work very early on is beyond significant.
Sure.
Making sure that if you are in the prison, don't get comfortable. Know that that's just a temporary place,
Right.
and that in the mind, you have the ability to change those complexities, get out of there, be free,
Right.
and start to work on the habits that you might have so that you can excel and be
Yeah.
great in the future as well. Present future, I should say that, you know?
I agree with that. But I think it all starts with choice.
Of course.
Most of us don't want to own the fact that we have the potential to control self. Right? So you think about animals.
Self-control.
Self-control. Think about
Yeah,
animals.
yeah.
They have characteristics in their DNA that are impulses.
Right.
They can't control them.
Right.
Just
Like a
like
dog
our
barking.
dog. Our dog, if someone
Here's
knocks on
that,
the
yeah.
door, now part of it, we trained him so that it's always an alert system, but to some degree, we have, maybe we should do a little better, train him in other areas. But the point is that it's a natural response.
It is,
Even
it
if
is.
it's you coming home,
Right.
because he can't tell.
Right.
But the point is that's an impulse.
Right.
But as humans, we have an impulse control.
Right.
We have within us the ability to choose
Right.
our action. We have the same impulse, but we have the responsibility,
Right.
the ability to respond. So that means that we don't have to follow with our wrong choices, bad habits, or the stinking thinking, as people used to say in the past, that has put us in a place where we feel that we are trapped in that limited life or potential.
Right.
Right? We can actually make a decision. So self-control, talk about it, coach, because a lot of people don't like these words: discipline, curse words; self-control, curse words; ownership, curse word; accountability, curse words, right?
Yeah.
Self-control.
I like self-control.
Yeah, you almost said love there. I like.
Reframe. I like it. I think that self-control is a disciplinary action that is meant to keep you focused forward. It is not meant to make you enable or inhibit you in any way.
Sure.
It's meant for your growth. It's meant for your success. It's meant, I think it's the way that you see self-control that is more important than anything else. I've had to practice so much self-control from the athletic standpoint.
Sure.
Oh my, eating habits, right? Gluttony, we know about gluttony,
Sure.
but even eating habits, practice habits, mental framework habits. Like there's so many different habits that I've had to put in check in my life that did call for some extra help. It called for me to dig deeper than just myself. But I work in the spiritual realm, so I definitely pray and I meditate on, look, I can't do this on my own. This is hard. I am one that does the work when it comes down to, if I know I need something, if I know I need the support, I'm gonna ask for it. I don't have any pride in that because I know that I have literally surpassed so many different goals that I've had because I've asked for that support.
Sure.
And that support in self-control has enabled me to be a greater leader, to be a greater, coach, and even a greater person, an athlete. So self-control may be difficult, but when you adopt a mindset that fosters an environment that says, this is for my growth, this is for my success, I'm going to do what it takes. Come on. You'll see the fruit. You'll see the fruit.
And the thing that, drawn from what you said that is most important is, as we're talking about impulse, we're talking about self-control, we're talking about choice, you have to understand that impulse is potential energy. That's why I started off the show by saying that. Go ahead.
It just reminded me too, self-control, yes, we know endless scrolling is a very dangerous habit that we all, man, it's tough. But I just thought about how protecting your circle takes self-control. Energy vampires.
That's right. Protecting yourself
People
from
that
energy
are
vampires.
so pessimistic. It could be in your family. It could be in your associates. It could be in your boardrooms, in your meetings. It could be in your cohorts, you know? Protecting your energy with self-control. because as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you have other people thinking and speaking over you and speaking different curses, different things against your destiny, against your dream, you've got to have enough gall and enough courage to stop that right there in the tracks, to say, you know what, I got to control this situation.
For
and
myself.
The best way I could do this is for myself.
Right.
And I'm going to enable and construct boundaries, healthy boundaries in each circle that I need to evaluate for my success and for my growth.
Sure. You know, it's interesting because when you do those types of things, when you take ownership, when you recognize that you have the ability to choose, when you live under self-control, you come to a point where you recognize that your impulses change. Yeah. That's really what I was trying to get us to really hone on. Okay. Is because a lot of times we'll hear the phrase, you have a lot of potential, but then people don't know what to do.
Yeah, of course.
So they're lost. Right. Or they think they know what to do, but then there's the real truth of when they try or they try again, they feel like they're a failure, or they feel like they're a fraud, or they feel like they're missing the point, or they feel like there's no support. But you have to realize that with impulse, there's these rules that govern and guide impulses, okay? The one in particular that I want to talk about is that impulses are actually strengthened the more you give them attention. Yeah, of course. What you feed gets bigger. Right. So if your responses are typically quick with it, or if they're sharp, or if they're short, or if they're demanding or commanding, or whatever it is, that impulse can change based upon what you're feeding. Right. Some people, I remember this used to drive me crazy. I'm one of the people that hate cliches a lot of times. I really do. I try my best not to live in a cliche type of mindset, but I also don't like these colloquialisms and things that we put on ourselves to define ourselves. Okay. Like say someone, and this is again, no hate on my folks from New York. You're from New York. I'll even speak about it. Nope, I got to, because I'll even say it about my people. But we claim that because we're from a certain place, that gives us the right to act a certain way. Or because
you're talking about like stylish, cool New Yorkers?
Not playing right now, because it's very serious. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll say, I was born here, so this is how I am. Or we'll say, I was born this way. No, you're a liar. And what you are is you're afraid to actually face the truth. Because the truth is you're responsible for how you speak. You're responsible for how you act. Either you're a product of your environment, or you're creating the environment you're around, and that is your product. Okay. Does that make sense? Right. The environment around you is often the environment you're producing. And I'm saying you, even including myself. Impulses are literally the things that we feel like we should do or want to do, but self-control is the thing that says, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to respond that way. You don't have to think that way. You don't have to feel that way. There are some people that are so sensitive, you can tell them something and they'll immediately take offense. Of course. But that is their impulse. Right. The problem is that they haven't asked themselves an honest question. Why do I respond this way when someone challenges me here? Why do I feel this every time someone mentions this? Because it's not their problem, it's mine. That's the reality of impulses. Okay. So we have to start asking ourselves, are we actually living by our impulses or our self-control? So here's what I meant by when I say people don't know how. The how is, what are you rehearsing? Every single opportunity, and I mean this. For instance, we were driving this morning, and there was somebody literally driving 20 and a 45 in front of us. It would drive most of us crazy. And it drives some people to insanity, to a point where they literally have road rage. And instead of asking, why am I getting so mad about this person driving slow? And why is it bothering me so much that I am seeing and feeling red? Why am I putting it on them when I'm responsible?
You know, it's funny because I took responsibility. I think I started this a couple of years ago, to where when I'm driving, it's not that I'm so patient, like, we all get a little impatient, okay? Especially I-4. There's a lot of places in interstates that will push you and your self-control. Right. But like I said, I need support sometimes outside of myself. Yeah. And I prayed right then and there, and I said, God, listen, I am impatient in this moment. That's good. And I want to challenge that, and I want to develop more patience, and I want to develop more control, but I want you to show me what is the root? Why am I so impatient about this?
Come on, I'll get there.
Talking. And I probably will get there early. Yeah. But I need some understanding. I need some
Yeah.
wisdom and I need some knowledge, because whatever you end up exposing to me, whether it was a habit or trait that I learned from my family members, was it
That's what
when
I
I
was getting
was, you know
to.
what I'm saying? Like, I think it's very important that sometimes we understand it may not be just you.
Yeah.
It could be the habits that you saw growing up and you were the backseat
Yes.
passenger watching your mom or dad
Yes.
whip through the roads, cussing everybody out.
Yes.
I mean, I had to take responsibility in that moment. I said, just show me what this is. And once he revealed it, I said, okay, help me to do better, because when I do have children, I want them to be protected from my attitude, my disposition. And I don't want to develop habits by myself, because I'm by myself in the car, that will be passed down.
Yes.
You know, it's something small, but I just believe in taking care and doing the work and tending to the roots first.
And that's incredible, because that's what we're here for. We're here to challenge ourselves in front of you, but hopefully you will challenge yourself because of us.
Right.
Right? These are real things that we struggle with, all of us as human beings, but it doesn't give us a pass.
Right.
One of the things that we write about in our book is oftentimes what we'll also do is we will like to judge people for their actions,
Yeah.
but then give ourselves all the grace because of our intent.
No.
We can do the same thing that drives us nuts to someone else and say, but that's not what I meant. And
It's
someone
fake,
does something 10% of what you did, and you are done with them forever. I can't stand them. Did you see the way they said this? Did you hear how they said it? Did you see? You understand?
Right.
Impulse.
Right.
The question is in that moment, are you allowing your irrational, illogical side to dictate what you see as true? Or are you going to pause for a second and say, I can seek the truth in this moment. And the truth is I'm bothered.
Yeah. Come on.
It's me.
It's me.
It's me.
It's not you, it's me. I mean, we say it all the time.
We say it
but
all the
it is
time.
a cliche statement. But are you going to adopt that statement?
Come on now.
There is so much perfection in the pause.
Yeah.
There is so much power in the pause. I'm going to try to think of one more P.
Potential.
There is so much potential
in the pause. That's
in
literally
the
what
pause.
we're talking about.
There's so much. And it was that moment in the car that I was like, well, I'm sitting in my seat of authority right here. I am taken back. I'm reclaiming something right here.
Come on.
This is it. I was blown away that I was even able to pray that, even able to think that, and even able to be humble enough and abase myself enough to feel like, you know what? I need help. I definitely don't want to cut off this person on the road, but God, they're going 5 and a 50. 5 and a 50. And sometimes I'll hear the voice that's like, just be patient.
Just be patient.
And I'm like, come on. But then all of a sudden I didn't see the car
That's what I
making
was
a
getting ready to
U-turn
say.
that could have killed me.
That would have been the end for you.
Be patient. Be patient.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Now, this is incredible. I love when this happens, because this is literally the path of this conversation that I really felt like we were going to get into.
Okay.
Because be patient with your potential.
Yeah.
A lot of times people don't maximize their potential because they're not patient with their potential.
Right.
They either patronize it or push it to the side.
Come on.
There's a difference between being patient with your potential and doing nothing with it. Now, here's what I have to say.
Okay.
Another sports analogy. For those of you who love these sports analogies, you know I was a coach. My wife and I both have coached. She was a track and field athlete. So was I. But this is a lesson I learned in track and field. In fact, one of the greatest coaches to ever do it, despite how you may feel, and Dennis Mitchell, right? He said this, and it came back to mind for me because I literally saw him say this to Sha'Carri Richardson. And he was yelling this out, and a lot of people would miss it because they don't get it. All right? Everyone knows that the sprints, they are fast, especially the 60 or the 100. This is 100% all-out war. But what people miss is their strategy. Their strategy to maximizing your potential, to maximizing your force. It's not just go hard. It's not just run with all your might. There is this incredible balance of poise and grace, strength and power. And he said, be patient, because what happens is a lot of time people get held up because they don't know where to start, or they start too hard and they burn out too early.
Exactly.
Because they can't transition into that top end speed, which is the sustainable speed.
That's right.
But he said, be patient, because some people will hit it so hard that they don't see down the line that they're not going to have enough to finish.
How can you?
Now watch. This is incredible. Because what he said is be patient with your acceleration. You still want to push hard. You still want to get out. You still want to propel forward, right? But the problem is if you put your feet down too fast, they look at this race in terms of length.
Yes.
And as a coach, I use this thing called stride patterns, where I literally will lay down the steps that my athletes should be hitting as they're accelerating into their top end speed.
That's right.
If you do not hit those marks, even though you're running at 100% effort, you'll be further behind than where you could be, even though you still had potential.
It's a good message right here. Pay attention.
To maximize and to put into your effort. So sometimes you have to be patient with your potential.
Don't I know it?
Don't put your feet down too fast, but also know that as long as you're putting in the effort and you're maximizing each stride and each length, you're accelerating further than you may even know. You'll pick your head up down the race, down the track, and you'll look around and realize that you're further ahead than you actually knew.
Just like the World Championships. She killed it.
Didn't even realize she was that far ahead.
Team USA in the outside lane. We'll talk about that another time. You know, it is very important. That's the athletic perspective, right? My doctor in business, it's so beautiful because having a diverse portfolio with clients is so beautiful. From the entrepreneur to the CEO to the doctor to, I mean, it's athlete, Olympian, it's been great. And one thing that I've noticed is that there is sometimes when you have a lot of potential, a rush. We felt this too. There's a rush within you that says, I need to perform. I need to accelerate. I need to go, right? When you don't have a coach that can evaluate your potential, lay out the foundation early, you might be focused with a problem, right? So the programming, let's say you have mesocycles, microcycles, you have different ways to program when it comes to athletics, but you also have different ways to program in periodization with your purpose. You also have ways to periodize your training and also the structure of your business. So when you are starting a business, right? I have a client I'm working with him through the process. You can't get rich tomorrow. You could try. I mean, there's many things, there's many ways to do it. But a sustainable wealth, sustainable wealth with the wrong system can leave you bankrupt. With the right system, patience, self-control, and the right foundation, you can find yourself running at the exact pattern, the exact acceleration, the exact way
made for you
and format that has been tailored and customized for your greatness.
You better speak.
And then you best believe that as a coach, this is the coach I am, I'm going to be there at the start line. I don't know if you've ever been to an athletic event, football even. I'll go from the end zone to the middle line, all the way to the other. I mean, because I'm with you, though. That's accountability. And that's what type of coach I am because I choose to have that. I choose to be that structure for my clients. And so when I see them, okay, wait a minute, where our foot is behind the mark that we need right now, let's take a pivot. Are you okay? Let's talk about that. Look, what do we need to do to regroup? All right, perfect. Now let's get back to the plan.
But here's the thing, though. The plan, the process is how you learn to maximize potential.
That's right.
Just let me breathe for a second because I'm telling you, when you said it, I almost lost my wits. I almost lost myself.
Okay.
People have heard for years that practice makes perfect.
Of course.
It's not true.
It's not true.
So then someone will say, well, I'm smart. Perfect practice makes perfect. It's not true. You've never in your life seen anyone, nor is there ever anyone, not even Michael Jackson, I don't care how much of a perfectionist he was, ever had a perfect practice. It's impossible.
Right.
Even if it's the first time you're practicing, it's going to be perfect.
Right.
There are no perfect practices.
Why seek that?
Practice makes programmed.
Oh, programmed. Okay.
Nah, so you almost did it too.
I was going to say permanent.
And that's the one people hold on to the most. No, practice makes programmed.
That's right.
That's what the motor cortex, that's what maximizing potential is about. That's what being patient with your potential is all about.
I see that.
You need the reps over and over and over and over and over and over because it doesn't make permanent. You are programming your impulses to the point where the control becomes automatic.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't even know that you're doing it once you come to the point of mastery. Now, let me say this before we go, because I know somebody got to hear it. Some of us have mastered the reasons why our lives suck. Some of us have mastered our bad habits, mastered the things that are creating the limits to our potential. You said it best, Coach. I can practice all I want, but I could be practicing wrong.
That's it.
And guess what I did?
What?
I programmed that into my motor cortex. I programmed that into the way I live, think, speak, react, act, talk, everything, because I programmed myself this way. Or allowed others to give me programs, which means that they are reprogrammable.
There's grace there.
Reprogrammable.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's a good point. Let's let that sit for a second.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, that's a really good point. There are certain habits that I've noticed. We talked about speaking before and people being very afraid that they're like nervous tics, right? You can be so ready. You could be so programmed. I mean, that system is booted up. It's ready to go. But right before your moment to shine, right before your moment to speak, right before your moment to be accelerating, you get to a point to where you allow fear to kind of be hardwired into your programming.
Understood.
So it does take a level of self-control to be able to dominate that.
Okay.
And in the moment, it's small, but I just realized that there are people that have so much nervous energy and anxieties about things that don't allow them to truly exercise what they've been programmed to do. You already did the reps. You already know your business in and out. You already know your plan. Work the plan, remove the fear, and begin to understand what grace looks like.
Well, here's something else to say. I understand, and we definitely can talk about grace, but here's the biggest problem, Coach, and you and I have talked about this off camera many times. The real reason why most of us are afraid when it comes to whether it's delivering a speech, talking in front of people, you and I are actors, paid actors. We have to do a lot of stuff on the fly, improv sometimes on stage. When things go wrong, you just got to go with it.
That's right. Stay ready.
Some people may forget a script or forget a line in the script.
Or
you got to be able to adapt.
Been there.
The point is, the reason why is because we make it about ourselves. It's not about us. It's about them.
Right.
The greatest speakers in the entire world have come to learn this one tip, and I'm telling you this right now. Even if you're getting ready to make a presentation in your job or at your career or to your employees or whatever the case, you have to remember no one cares about you, because your job was to give them something. It was an expression of your care for them. As an actor, it's about the audience.
That's it.
It's not about your performance.
It's about
your performance will be better when you stop thinking about you and how good you are and what if I did this and maybe I messed up. No, they're supposed to have a great experience. When you're on the stage, you keep thinking everybody's worrying about the words you're going to trip up on and the phrase that you wanted to say here and the thing that you could have brought up. No one cares about that because no one knows. They didn't do the prep work with you.
That's right.
As long as you're there to give them something that they can use, that they can hold, they can take back with them, you'll be remembered.
Right.
And the craziest thing, and trust me, you've been here, I guarantee it. There are times that you've spoken and you thought about things you wanted to say and you didn't say it.
Gone.
Watch this.
Fleeting.
But the thing that you thought wasn't great,
people applauded.
They're like, that was when you said that, I was like, that wasn't good at all.
Stop taking yourself so seriously, man. Just, you're already wired, you're already ready. Deliver it and be there for other people.
Run the program.
Run it.
Just like in sports, run the play.
That's it.
Last thing, Coach, we have one more point.
Go ahead.
I know we have to do it. I have to do this for anyone who's watching. And if you stay with us this long, please, 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 just watch this last point, because this is something that you may have heard. There's a book called Outliers. All right, we're not just going to go against the book, but it's a very good place to start. Outliers talks about how a lot of these people who are successful have been successful because they put in the amount of work.
Right.
10,000 hours is what the author suggests to mastery.
Right.
The only problem is that that's not ultimately true.
Okay.
Because essentially what he's saying is that if you put in 10,000 hours of doing any one thing, you'll become a master at what you do.
Right.
But we've already talked about the first thing that wasn't considered. Not all practice is equal.
That's right. That's right.
I can put in 10,000 hours doing the thing wrong, and it's going to take me 30,000 hours to reprogram.
Right.
There's a statement that we make as coaches that we've learned from what happens when you're programming yourself, programming your impulses. It takes about 3,000 repetitions for it to actually be locked in. To the cells, to the neurons, right? But it takes 10,000 for us to get that old habit out of which is why you have to commit yourself to doing the reps and doing it when no one's looking, doing it when no one's applauding you, doing it when no one's asking you, doing it when you don't have any bookings on the calendar. Do it because you're not worried about trying to show off when it's time. You're putting in work now, and this is your time. So when the show opens, when the stage is inviting you, when the people make that call for you, you don't have to go and reinvent anything because you've been programmed to do this.
Come on. That's it.
You don't have to put in 10,000 hours. I'm just telling you, put in the reps to program yourself. Coach, this has been an incredible conversation. I wish that we could have just gone even deeper. There's so much, but these are 3 takeaways that I think anyone listening can take away from this conversation. First, you have to learn to control your impulses.
That's right.
We don't want you to be irrational or illogical. You can take the seat of authority, as you said in our conversation. And in that moment, no matter how hard it is, train yourself to choose the most accelerative, the most propulsive path. Right? I got it. You found it. But it's the truth. Second thing is be patient with your potential.
That's right.
Don't get in a rush. Trust. That's a good one. Don't get in a rush. Trust. If you are building momentum takes a while to build. But the thing is, once it's built, it takes all of heaven and earth to stop it. That is Newton's law. Once an object is in motion, it will remain in motion unless another outside force acts upon it. That's physics for you in case you need to go back and review that one. Remember that point. And then the third thing is practice makes programmed. If you're rehearsing anything, even the words you say and the way you think, over and over and over, you're a product of your rehearsal. You are the #1 star in your own short film or film. You have mastered your role. What you need to do is redefine it. Come on. That would be the 3 takeaways I hope will hit you the most. But if there are others that you had, please leave them in the comments because we want to converse with you. Let us know what we may have said at any point in this conversation that really impacted you. Because 1, it helps us to know that we're not just speaking from this place and missing you. But 2, we get an opportunity to connect with you because we really do want to help you maximize not just your potential, find purpose, but accelerate your life and that of others.
And if you're looking for speakers to inspire your team, help to reprogram some bad habits that might exist, we are available. This is a brand new year and people are already lacking momentum. We are here to inspire and aspire your team even higher. So if there's anything that we can provide you with, let us know, please. And reach out to us at aspirehigherlife.com. And you might even have a team. If you're a sports team or an agency that needs speakers to inspire them, we're also available for that. But thank you again, and please don't forget to subscribe.
So that's it for today. So please hit that subscribe button. Told you it was going to be good. Hit that like, but hit share. You know someone that needs to hear this. We appreciate you. And until next time, we're out.